So hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 6 and the finale of our Carlos Sainz sprint career mode here on the channel. If you didn't watch the last episode, go back and watch that one, because that will set you up lovely for this single race finale. And my word, is it close. If we go to the standings, constructor standings wise, we've won. Constructor standings, the Ferrari have got their constructors championship, but driver standings is what is all to play for. We are currently top on 287 points. Our teammate Charles Leclerc is on 280 and Max Verstappen is on 278. What sets us up for this? The fact that we won 2 races in the last episode. We won in Qatar and we won in Las Vegas, but we had a very, very poor Brazilian Grand Prix, and it all comes down to one night in Abu Dhabi, as it so often does. Just to bring you up to date with the R&D chart, just to let you know where we are as we go into this final race. We are the 3rd best car behind Mercedes and Red Bull. It is incredibly close, but who is going to win it? Let me know down in the comments. But without any further ado, let's get to qualifying for this finale. Final couple of corners then in qualifying, and this is so important for Sunday as we come around the final corner. Where are we going to be placed? Max Verstappen on pole position, and it's going to be us in P4. Not a bad qualifying, but let's get to the grid.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And it's Charles Leclerc in P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Perez, Sainz, Russell, Norris, Oscar Piastri, Fernando Alonso, Hamilton, Gasly, Ocon, Stroll, Tsunoda, Albon, Ricciardo, Zhou, Bottas, Magnussen, Sargent, and Nico Hülkenberg rounds off the grid. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
So ladies and gentlemen, it all comes down to this, the finale. You're going to see every moment of this race. It's lights out and away we go, and it's got to be said, we do not get the best start, and George Russell gets an amazing start around the outside. We brake nice and early. We don't need to throw this away early doors. Remember, we have got to beat Verstappen and Leclerc by just enough points. Finishing P2, I believe, will succeed in making us the Drivers' World Champion today. So P2 is the target, and straight away you can see we're taking it possibly a little bit overcautiously at the start of this Grand Prix. There's a lot of racing going on behind, but it's all focused on us because we don't want this top 3 getting away, and we're getting a little bit of a side draft from George Russell, and we do manage to get up into P4 and then into this chicane. We brake, and we can see Perez and Leclerc fighting in front. Verstappen is already 1.1 seconds up the road, and this is not so good, especially for Charles Leclerc. We've got to make sure that we can catch the leader as well, but Verstappen is away. Leclerc and Perez still going at it side by side, as we can see on the television camera, and at the moment we are just sat in behind it here, just waiting to see what materialises and just let it settle down that little bit. But as we go into this twisty section towards sector 3, we take a wider line to try and sneak one down the inside of Perez, and we certainly do. We give Perez a bit of the shoulder. Perez backs out of it, and suddenly an opportunistic move. Neither of them were looking behind them, and this scarlet red Ferrari is now right on the back of Charles Leclerc as we come on to lap 2. Max Verstappen leads away from Leclerc. It's us in P3, then comes Perez in P4, Russell in P5, Piastri, Alonso in P7, Norris in P8, Gasly in P9, and Hamilton is in P10. But now the DRS is enabled, and it's going to be interesting because it can be very, very tactical around Abu Dhabi on making sure you get the DRS at the right point in the circuit. And it's here we go straight away. We can see that rear wing of ours wide open, as a fair few of them are behind us as well. Perez also getting the DRS as we look to make a move on Leclerc. Not just yet. We brake into this chicane. We reckon the second straight is the better DRS drag reduction disc system, where we can make the most of it, and we really need this to pull us up towards the back of Max Verstappen. Charles Leclerc doesn't fight it too much. We go around the outside, and the Ferrari swap places as Carlos Sainz goes into P2. Leclerc now in P3, and you can see we pulled that gap down to 1.6 seconds. on lap 2 as Max Verstappen still looking incredibly comfortable as the sun is setting here at the Yas Marina circuit in Abu Dhabi. Leclerc is right up the back of us at this moment, and Perez a little bit further back, 0.7 of a second now, the gap between Leclerc and Checo Perez. George Russell in P5 has had a decent season. He's looking pretty good as well. It's not too spaced out at this moment, everybody bunched up at this moment in time, but 1.7 seconds. You can see though how close is Charles Leclerc to the back of us, Carlos Sainz, and we are starting to just feel a little bit of pressure here, because if we were to lose P2 at this point, we would lose the Drivers' Championship. So we jump back on board with us. It's 1.7 seconds is the gap as we switch back to the television camera. Charles Leclerc now will get that DRS wide open, and let's see what Charles Leclerc can do. Will he go for a move here on lap 3, or will he, like we did, wait for the second DRS detection zone? He doesn't go into it. He doesn't go for the move towards the chicane, but he's all now focused on the exit. You can see he gets a decent exit. It's not too big a slide on the exit, and now he's got the DRS again. Now we don't really need to fight this here at this moment in time as he pulls to the right hand side. We give him a little bit of a squeeze, but it's pretty comfortable for Charles Leclerc, who now takes the lead, and we are now tucked up behind him, as you can see, as we ride on board with the man who, as things stand, has currently lost the Drivers' World title. If we get P2, we are all said and done. It's all done by the shouting, but if we get P3, it could be a very, very different story. Again, you'll notice we got it down again to 1.5, 1.6 seconds gap to Verstappen. Verstappen has literally drove off the start, off pole position, and ran away with this at this moment in time as we come on to the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix. And once again, it's just about keeping it tight, keeping it tidy through this first section, but the DRS is what all counts. As we can see, Perez down in P4, towards the back it must be said, Hulkenberg all the way back in P20, Logan Sargent in P19, and Bottas in P18. It's all happening towards the back. There's multiple passing opportunities around here, but of course DRS being so powerful, and now we ride on board with us once again on the penultimate lap. Are we going to go for a move into the chicane? This time we are not waiting around. We are going to go for the move into the chicane. We cut in front of our teammate and manage to get the job done. Now, do we get the exit here? We certainly do, and I don't think this time Charles Leclerc is close enough to make the move on us as we ride on board with Charles Leclerc, looking at the back of his teammate. He's pulling to the left, but can't see a passing opportunity. 1.4 seconds. We're trying everything we can in the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz. What a camera view that is, by the way. A very old-fashioned camera view. We are trying everything to get in the DRS of Max Verstappen, because that could have been absolutely crucial, and we could have actually looked to win the Grand Prix at that point. But at the moment, we are simply fighting our teammate for P2. And as we come round the final sector on the penultimate lap, could you envisage this? If Charles Leclerc passes us, we lose the Drivers' World title. Charles Leclerc won't win it, Max Verstappen will win it. So it's all about now staying in P2. And as you can see, the driving's just get a little bit more rackety. It's just getting a little bit more untidy, a little bit of a slide there on the back end. We are feeling the pressure from our teammate, and there are 2 DRS detection zones that we have got to negotiate, and if we do manage to negotiate it, we will be world champion, as we will now ride on board with our teammate Charles Leclerc, who's looking at the back of us. You can see we're trying to break the toe. He goes for the overtake into this chicane as we switch back to our onboard, and now we should get DRS up this next DRS straight. Listen, we didn't ease off the throttle there. Leclerc chose to overtake us, and now the DRS detection point, you'll notice on the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc, the rear wing doesn't open, but on the rear wing of Carlos Sainz, it certainly does, and we go back into second place. And as long as there are no mistakes, no problems in this final sector, it is looking like we are going to be Drivers' World Champion. We're Constructors' World Champion already. Max Verstappen is going to cross the line, and he's going to win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. We know all about that. But what is, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, it's been 16 races, it's been short, it's been action-packed, and ladies and gents, Carlos Sainz is your Drivers' World Champion.
Well, it's certainly been an incredible year for Formula One, and our drivers have all pushed themselves this season, making it one of the most compelling years of racing in history. There can only be one champion, however, and here they are now, our new Formula One World Drivers' Champion. Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sports that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
Constructors World Champion, Drivers World Champion, and it's got to be said, what a battle we've had with these two guys that join us on the podium, especially our teammate Charles Leclerc, who almost cost us that there in that race. But what a season it's been, and I hope you very much enjoyed the series. Let's get to the full classifieds at the end. So there we have it then, ladies and gentlemen. As we saw, Max Verstappen winning the Grand Prix. If Charles Leclerc had finished second, we would have lost that to Max Verstappen, and how different it could have been as an end to a series. But we finished in P2, Charles Leclerc P3, Perez in P4, Russell P5, then come Piastri, Alonso, Norris, Gasly and Ocon, and then Hamilton down in P11. All the way at the very back was Nico Hülkenberg. To the standings, of course, we finished top on 306 points, Max Verstappen on 303, and Charles Leclerc finishes on 295. Lando Norris doing very well in the McLaren. Sergio Perez 125 points in the Red Bull. It's not really good enough, is it? And then all the way towards the bottom, we had 5 drivers not scoring any points: Kevin Magnussen, Valtteri Bottas, Hülkenberg, Zhou and Logan Sargent. Constructor standings wise, we finished top. Red Bull finished second, then it was McLaren, Mercedes, Aston Martin and Kick Sauber and Haas once again not scoring any points. Ladies and gentlemen, as F1 Manager is back next week, the new F1 Manager game, we're going to be focusing on that. So I hope you've enjoyed this short and sweet but very action-packed series. It's something we might do a little bit more of in the future, and I've really enjoyed doing something different. Please do like and subscribe, and we will see you on the next one. Ta-ra!